March has produced some of the most historic moments in sports history. Moments that changed leagues, shocked the world, and created records that may never be broken. This video is part 1 of 4, where we explore 4 historic sporting events that left their mark on the month of March. And we're starting with one of the most unbelievable nights ever recorded in sports, the ghost game of Wilt Chamberlain. A night where a single man did something so dominant, the league literally had to change its rules to stop him. 100 points in a single game. A record so unbelievable that more than 60 years later, nobody has come close to breaking it. But what makes this story even crazier is that almost no one actually saw it happen. No TV cameras, no grainy film, just a cold gym in Pennsylvania and a story that sounds like a legendary tall tale. It was March 2, 1962, in a small arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. The game featured the Philadelphia Warriors facing the New York Knicks. Nothing about this matchup seemed historic. It wasn't a playoff game, and it wasn't even a sold-out arena. In fact, the building held only about 4,000 fans. But those few thousand spectators were about to witness something that would become the greatest scoring performance in sports history. At the center of it all was a 7'1" basketball giant who had already been dominating the league, Wilt Chamberlain. Even for someone as dominant as Wilt, however, this night would be different. From the moment the game began, the rim didn't just look big to Wilt, it looked like the ocean. Before that historic night, Chamberlain was already a phenomenon. He had once scored 78 points in a game and even averaged 50 points per game over an entire season. While many players dominate during their careers, Wilt seemed to rewrite what was physically possible on a basketball court. He was stronger than most centers and faster than many guards. Teammates often described him as completely unstoppable around the basket. Yet on March 2, something unusual began to unfold. From the opening minutes of the game, every shot Wilt took seemed to fall through the net. By halftime, he had already scored 41 points, which alone would count as an incredible night for most players. But his teammates began to realize something important. The New York Knicks simply had no answer for him. Because of that, the Warriors made a decision. They would feed Wilt the ball every single chance they got. Possession after possession, the ball found its way back into Chamberlain's hands. Pass after pass, shot after shot, he kept scoring. Hook shots dropped in, layups fell easily. Even his free throws, his notorious weakness, began to go down. The numbers kept climbing higher and higher. 50 points, 60 points, then 70. As the game continued, the crowd slowly realized they were witnessing something almost impossible. The atmosphere inside the arena began to change as people stood from their seats, sensing history unfolding right in front of them. By the time the fourth quarter began, the entire building was buzzing. Word had spread throughout the arena that Wilt Chamberlain had already reached 79 points. Soon the number rose again. 88 points, then 90. Fans were now standing and cheering on nearly every possession. Teammates began forcing the ball to Wilt, determined to push him toward a number that had never been reached before. Even the opposing team began committing unusual fouls in an attempt to control the clock and keep the ball away from him. But the Warriors had their own strategy. They started intentionally fouling the Knicks just to stop the clock and regain possession faster. The entire game had transformed into a single, frantic mission: get Wilt to 100 points. As the seconds ticked away, Chamberlain stood at 98 points. The entire arena waited anxiously. Then it happened. Wilt caught the ball in the paint, turned toward the basket, and calmly banked in a simple shot. 100 points. The crowd immediately rushed onto the court as the game ended. What had just happened seemed almost impossible. History had been made, but the strangest part of the story came afterward. Despite the historic nature of the performance, there is no full video footage of the game. No television broadcast recording exists. Only a few photographs and a radio broadcast remain as evidence of what happened that night. One photograph in particular became iconic. It shows Wilt Chamberlain sitting in the locker room holding a simple piece of paper with the number 100 written across it. That single image would become one of the most famous pictures in sports history. Because there is so little visual evidence of the game itself, the legend surrounding it has only grown over time. Some people have even questioned whether the story was exaggerated. Yet the official scorebook, eyewitness accounts, and radio broadcast all confirm the truth. Wilt Chamberlain really did score 100 points in a single game. Even today, more than 60 years later, the record still stands. The closest anyone has come was 81 points, scored by Kobe Bryant in 2006. Modern superstars such as LeBron James and Stephen Curry have dominated the league in their own eras, yet neither has approached the century mark in a single game. For someone to reach 100 points in today's game, everything would have to align perfectly. That's why many analysts believe Wilt's record may truly be unbreakable. More than 6 decades later, the night Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points remains one of the most legendary achievements in sports history. The record was set in a small arena, in front of only a few thousand spectators, during what seemed like an ordinary regular season game. Yet that moment became one of the most extraordinary accomplishments ever recorded in the NBA. And this incredible story is only the first of 4 historic moments that changed the month of March forever. In the next video, we'll look at another moment that shocked the entire sports world, a moment many fans consider the greatest buzzer beater in college basketball history. If you want to see that story, make sure you subscribe, because the next episode in this series is coming soon. And trust me, the next moment might be even more unbelievable.